Hey everyone, this is Hafizullah Masoudi and you're watching From Code with Hafiz. I welcome you to the fourth video of this series in which we will discuss HTML formatting, quotations, comments and colors in depth. Now by formatting it's referred to the text formatting, and in HTML there are several ways for defining text with a special meaning. So for example we have a B tag and a strong tag, and to show you this one let's get back to the text editor, and what I will do is first of all let's remove all of this code, or we can just let's remove it guys. So let's remove it till this part, and to declare an example of B tag we can declare it by saying B opening tag and closing tag, and inside here whatever we declare will be in bold and it will be without any extra importance. So let's say this is a bold text. Now if we save this, well, let's also remove the background color. So let's remove this one, and if we go to the browser now, refresh, now you can see we have a bold text. Well, I will zoom it a little bit for you to see better. Now the next one is the strong element, which will define a text with strong importance, and the content inside this element is also in bold. So let me show you this one also. So let's go to the text editor and let's press enter here, and let's say strong, and let's say closing tag also strong. Now inside here let's say this is a strong text. Now let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh, and you can see both texts are in bold. Now the first one with the B tag is also in bold, but it has less importance, but the other one, which is with the strong tag, has more importance than the B tag. So keep that in mind. Next up we have HTML and M elements. So let's get back to the text editor, and in here what we can do is press enter and let's say I tag. Now the I element defines a part of text in an alternate voice or mood, and the content inside this element is typically displayed in italic. So to show you this one, let's say this text is in italic or italic, and if you go to the browser, refresh, you can see now we have an italic text. Now let's put a BR here to see everything better, and if you refresh now you can see we have an italic text. So the next one that we have is M or emphasized text. So let's put a BR and let's say M, and let's also close the tag. So in here let's say this text is emphasized, and if you save it, and note that this emphasized text will also be displayed in italic. So let's get back to the browser, refresh, and now you can see we have an emphasized text. Next up we have the HTML small element, which defines a smaller text. So let's get back to the text editor, and in here let's first put a BR and let's create the small tag, and inside here let's say this is a small text. Now if we save it, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see it's a little bit smaller than the other text that we have. Next up we have the HTML mark element, which defines a text that should be marked or highlighted. So let's get back to the text editor, and in here what we can do is let's first put a BR, and next let's create a paragraph, and inside this paragraph let's say do not forget to buy milk, for example, today. Let's say today, and now we want this milk word to be highlighted, so we can declare a mark tag around it, so let's say mark. And now if I save it, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see milk is highlighted. Next up we have the HTML del element, which defines a text that has been deleted from a document, and browsers will usually strike a line through deleted text. So to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor, and in here let's say not sugar but milk. So now let's make this sugar a delete word. So let's say del and grab it inside in the del element. Now let's save this and get back to the browser, and if I refresh, now you can see the sugar is being deleted, usually with a strike offline. Next up we have the HTML ins element, which defines a text that has been inserted into a document, and browsers will usually underline inserted text. So to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor, and in here what I will do is create another paragraph. So let's press enter, and let's first create a BR, and now let's say p tag, and inside here let's say this is my favorite color, blue, and let's say we want this blue one to be inserted. So let's say ins, and let's also close the ins tag. Now let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh, and you can see now this is being underlined. Now we have another HTML element, which is sub element, and it will define a subscript text. Now subscript text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font, and a subscript text can be used for chemical formulas, for example H2O, etc. So let's show you with the example. So let's get back to the text editor, and in here what I will do is first I will put a break, and then let's say this is, or let's create a paragraph first. So paragraph tag, and let's say this is a subscripted text, and now let's make this one subscript. So sub, and let's close a sub element. Now let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh, and you can see it is a subscripted text. Now next up we have a superscripted text also, and we can define it with a sup element, and superscript text appears half a character above the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font also. Let me show you one. So let's go to the text editor, and what I will do is copy this one. So let's copy this with the BR, let's paste it. Now in here instead of sub we can use sup. So let's say sup, and let's say superscripted text. Now let's save this, get back to the web browser, refresh, and you can see this is a superscripted text. Now this was about HTML text formatting, and now let's talk about the quotations. So these elements are called citation elements also, and in here we will go through some of the citation elements that you can use in your website. So first of all we have a block quote element, which defines a section that is quoted from another source, and browsers usually indent block quote elements. Now to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor, and first of all what I will do is remove all of this, and let's remove everything. And in here what I will do is create a block quote. So let's say block, or let's say block quote, and let's close the tag, and let's say block quote. Now inside here what we will do is copy some text from the Lorem Ipsum site. So let's open a new tab and let's search for Lorem Ipsum, and let's go to the first link. So let's copy this paragraph from here. So let's copy this one and let's get back to text editor and paste it here. Now let's save this, and for this to check, we have to create a paragraph tag to see the difference. So in here, let's say this is a paragraph. Now let's get back to the browser and project tab, and if I refresh, and yeah, we have some kind of error. And if we get back to the text editor, oh, I misspelled the block quote. So U should be first and O should be later. So let's make this one UO. Now if I save it, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see it's being indented a little bit, and you can see this is our paragraph which has no indentation. Now after this, we have another element or citation element, which is the Q tag, and that defines a short quotation. So to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor and let's make the first line of this paragraph a short quotation tag. So we can define it with the Q tag, and let's make it to this word, so /Q. And if I save it now, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see we have these quotation symbols in here. Now next up, we have another HTML element for abbreviation, and it's the aber or ABBR tag that will define an abbreviation or an acronym like HTML, CSS, Mr., Dr., ATM, etc. And making abbreviations can give useful information to the browsers and also to the translation systems and also search engines. And we can use global title attribute with this element to show the description for the abbreviation when we mouse over the element. Now to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor and let's remove this block quote for now because we don't need it anymore. And in here, inside this paragraph, what we can do is declare some other paragraphs. So let's say the World Health Organization, and let's say WHO was founded, for example, was founded in 1948. Now we want this WHO to be an abbreviation, so we can do that using the abbreviation element. So let's say abr, and let's close the tag, and we can use a title for it. So in here, let's say title, we should equal to World Health Organization. Now what we can do is remove this other paragraph part because we have an abbreviation now. So let's get back to the browser, and if I refresh now you can see it's being underlined for us, and if you mouse over it, now you can see World Health Organization. Now next up, we have the HTML address tag that defines the contact information for the author or owner of a document or an article. The contact information can be an email address, URL, physical address, phone number, social media, etc. Now the text in the address element usually renders in italic, and browsers will always add a line break before and after in the address elements. Now let's get back to the text editor and show you this one. So let's create an address element first, and let's close it. And inside here, whatever we will declare will be showed as an address element. So let's say written by John Doe, so John Doe, and let's put a BR here, and let's say visit us at, let's put another BR, and let's say example.com. And if we save this now, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see it's in italic, and this means that this is an address element. Now next up, we have the HTML site tag that defines the title of a creative work. For example, a book, a poem, a song, a movie, a painting, a sculpture, etc. Now to show you an example for this element, let's get back to the text editor and let's press enter here. And first of all, let's create a paragraph, and inside here let's create a cite element. So cite, and in here let's say example book, and in here let's say, for example, by, let's say, John Doe, and let's save this. And if we get back to the browser, refresh, you can see example book by John Doe, and you can see that this example book is cited in italic. Now finally, for the citation elements, we have a BDO or Bi-Directional override element, and this tag is used to override the current text direction. So to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor and let's press enter here, and let's create a BDO element. So inside here, or first of all, let's declare the direction for it. So let's say RTL or right to left, and let's say this text is written right to left, and let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh, and you can see it is written from the right to left. Now after this, let's talk about HTML comments. As you already can guess, why do we need comments? Well, for better understanding of our code or to document our HTML source code. Now HTML comments will not be displayed in the browser, and they are only used for a reference. So to show you this one, let's get back to the text editor, and let's say we want to comment from here to all of the code below, but before the body. So we can declare a comment with less than mark and then exclamation and then dash dash, and now we have opened our comment. And to close it, at the bottom we can say dash dash and greater mark. Now let's save this, get back to the browser, and if we refresh, now you can see it's not displaying our comments. So if we view page source, you can see in here we can check our comments and our HTML code also, and you already can see that the browser is not rendering our comments in the display. Now notice that there is an exclamation point in the starting tag but not in the end tag, and comments can be used to hide content, and it can be used to hide parts in the middle of the HTML code also, and this can be useful if you hide content temporarily. And you can also hide more than one line, as for this example you can see we are hiding more than one line, and everything between the comment symbols will be hidden from the display. And you can also use comments for debugging HTML code, because you can comment out HTML lines of code one at a time to search for errors. Now this was everything about comments, and now we will discuss the last topic of this video, which is HTML colors, and then we are done for today. So HTML colors can be specified with predefined color names or with RGB, RGBA, hex, Hsl or Hsla values. So in HTML a color can be specified by using a color name, and HTML supports 140 standard color names. You can set the background color, text color or border color with HTML color names very easily. So to show you this one, for let's remove all of this code for now. Now first let's create a paragraph here. So let's say p tag, and inside here let's say this is a paragraph, and let's declare the style attribute for this paragraph, and let's give it a color, and the color name that we want for this one is, let's say, red. So let's go to the web browser, refresh, you can see it is being red. And if we give it another color, for example tomato, and get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see it has been changed to tomato color. Now next up we can give colors using RGB, which stands for red, green and blue light sources. So let's get back to the text editor, and what I will do is copy this paragraph from here and paste it here. And for instead of tomato, what we can do is we can declare Rgb, and it will take three values, which is red, green and blue. So for this one, let's say 255, 99, 71, and let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh. You can see it's the same color. And you can declare the RGB values up to 255 for each of them. And the next one that we have is the Rgba, which is an extension of RGB with an alpha channel, which is the opacity of the color. So let's get back to the text editor, and to give this color the alpha channel, we can put another comma here, and we can change the RGB to Rgba, and then in here we can declare the opacity from 0.1 to 1 for 100% opacity. So in here let's say 0.5, and if we save it, get back to the browser, refresh, now you can see it's taking the alpha channel. Now next up we have hex color types, which is the color code. So let's get back to the text editor, and to declare this one, let's create another paragraph, and for this one let's say hash, and let's say ff, for example 63 and then 47, and let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh. You can see is the same color. So each color has its own hex value, and you can check all the color codes in the internet. Now finally we have the Hsl and Hsla. So first of all, let's get back to the text editor and create an Hsl. So let's paste our paragraph, and in here let's say Hsl, and Hsl stands for hue, saturation and lightness. So for the hue, we can declare it from 0 to 360, and 0 is red, 120 is green, and from 240 it will be blue. And the saturation is a percentage from starting from 0%, which will mean a shade of gray, and 100%, which is full color. And for the lightness, it is also a percentage value, so 0% is black and 100% is white. So to show you this one, let's declare the Hsl value for this one. So let's say this one should be, hue should be 9, and let's say saturation should be 100%, and lightness should be 64%. Now let's save this, get back to the browser, refresh. You can see is the same color. Now for the Hsla, it has an alpha channel, same as for the Rgba, so it will declare an opacity for the color. So if we get back to the text editor, and we can first change this Hsl to Hsla, and then we can put a comma here, and now let's say 0.5 to get the same results as the Rgba. So let's get back to the browser, and if you refresh, now you can see it is taking the alpha channel. Now you can experiment with all of these colors or coloring techniques a little bit to find more about them and learn how each of them work. Now this was everything about HTML formatting, quotations, comments and colors, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and if so, don't forget to give the thumbs up and a nice comment also. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe too if you want more videos like this. So thanks for watching, see ya in the next video.